wee all in your mouth. DM me on Instagram. I'm gonna send you my wee. I dare you niggas quote have God in your mouth with my wee all in your mouth. DM me on Instagram. I'm gonna send you my wee. I dare you niggas quote have God in your mouth, nigga. I send you a picture of my wee. You niggas be having God in your mouth when it's convenient for y'all. Like what you doing? Like you just riding my wee for no reason. Get off my nuts, bro. Damn.
Flow versus flow, big bank versus little bank. His new nickname, Oscar Mayer or Little Frank. The sniffling and coughing ends in the coffin too. We know what you meant when you said you've been pushing the rock, gripping the biscuit, toting the llama, holding the pole, working the pistol. They have stolen your soul. On the internet, pretending to be a mobster. On the low, you a nature boy. Frank's in your chakra. Let's get to jail. The part they ain't quick to tell. 20 years with an asshole full of shit to sell. Zip had weed, dope, and K2 cents Rikers. Asshole open for business, even phones and lighters. Now, how you managing all that inventory? Was you bending over Salat? Well, that's a different story. Tell us the real reason you mad with the backpackers, because you was forced to pack your back in the back of the shack. Kool-Aid, K2 crack, Raymond noodle packs with lighters, burner phones, books, and blood wraps. Is this nigga Frank Ocean or Frank Sinatra? Is the Frank stand laundering money for mobsters? Be frank. Are you really the street mogul boy, or was your ass literally the Muslim mobile store? Yo, hold up. Damn, I was fucking up the flow. This nigga's a clown. Oh, shit. Okay, so we are back. Woo! We are back with another official video from our expert in the field, right? When I need certain types of information, I have to have a sharpshooter. I have to have a sniper. I have to have somebody that can hone in and go directly to the heart of the matter. So amidst all the controversy that's going on surrounding Zip, I'm sure Zip has people around him saying, Zip, why are you even wrestling with this guy? And I got tons of people around me like, bro, Zip is an idiot. He is a zero in the world of the intellectuals. Why are you wasting your time with this conversation? Amidst all the controversy, wait, is it Dr. Sebi? Is it How to Eat to Live? Is it this? Is it that? Who's ENQI down with? The conscious community or the nation of gods and earth? Or is ENQI with the holistic? Like all of these different chatter that's going on. We still have to do the teaching. We still have to make sure that amidst the comedy, the foolishness, the chaos, the negativity, there's positivity. Inside the darkness, we put the lights on, right? So one of the things that has come of this is people have asked questions about the nature of Islam. How is it that these guys that proposition themselves as murderers, sexual offenders, just this entire pool of individuals, how does the BBL by Islam work? that's what we're gonna call it, the BBL by Islam, the full body makeover, where you can be, the worst element of the community, poof, and then all of a sudden you call yourself Muslim, and guess what? You still get to practice all of the same behavior. You still get to sell the crack if you want. You can still be a Muslim, a good Muslim, and sell crack. You can still be a good Muslim and promote getting high every day, all day. You could be a good Muslim and tell kids to drop out of school. You could be a good Muslim and do all. So all of these things are now controversial questions that are popping up. Anyway, long story short, when we got to get into the Aboriginal science and track down some of the insights on these quote unquote black religions, or religions that once were black. Damn it. Pun intended. Damn it. We got to go to CRIP Jesus. We got to go to CRIP Jesus.
Man. Peace to the divine family.
Crowd goes crazy as CRIP Jesus enters the arena.
Yes, CRIP Jesus. Not here to gang bang, but here, this is the exact lane. I am a brother who did time in the pen and have seen many of brothers take their position in life from being at the bottom of the totem pole in society as a prisoner to a much higher status, and maybe sometimes through the religions getting a little egotistical with that. You'll find a lot of ex-pimp, drug dealer, hustler preachers, ex-pimp, drug dealer, hustler spiritual leaders, and what you find in the Black community is a lot of these dudes tend to take the same personality traits that made them the leader in the street world, and they may claim, yeah, we're using it for good now, but there has to be a respect to pecking order here, if you ask me. There has to be a respect to spiritual discipline in research and conduct in a certain decorum. You understand what I'm saying? That seems to get lost in this, like, Malcolm X makeover thing going here. You know, it's been since Malcolm X that's been like the trend in the Black community, you know. And what you gotta understand, one thing to remember about Malcolm X, he was very humble. You know, it took all the way until he got full-fledged in the conflict with Elijah for him to even speak out like that. So we have to understand that I'm here because, you know, I can relate to the Zip with the Drip brother. I've met a lot of brothers like him. I've seen this type of situation a million times. I know all about the brothers coming out the pen saying Sharia on the East Coast, especially using that as a way to kind of cause division. And the reason I'm here is because we're not here to speak on Islam. We're not here to even have really a religious conversation. We're here to talk about the Black conscious community and the things that are being used to tear us apart from each other. I really appreciate where ENQI stands as a unifier as opposed to a divider, looking for the things that's similar amongst us and how we can come together, because the diet and our health is our wealth. And that relates to all of us as original people, regardless whether you think you Hebrew, Moorish, Asiatic, this group, that group. You're not going to be any of that if you're dead, which includes this topic we're on today, selling drugs. It doesn't matter. There's no supreme Muslim drug dealer. And let's not going to sit up here on this computer in front. This is something that's become like damn near cool in the East Coast, and we got to put it. I'm not gonna say we put an end to it today. Like, this is the end of that, but this is for sure the beginning of the ending of that being considered right and exact. I'm here to speak on it first and foremost. Like, I'm not here to say to judge anybody, but what we're not going to keep doing is acting like, oh, you know, hey, you know, this part of Islam, that's cool. Like, no, it's not. There's no part of Islam where that's cool, acceptable, and there's no Islamic country or culture that's cool with drug dealing at all, or even acting like drug dealers, or the whole vibe that comes with it. It's just not what it is. It's not what it's going to be. So we're here today to give Islam its righteous place back in the community. You know, a lot of people have took into, maybe they see what's going on with the Arabs and they say, oh, you know, but it's no need to throw it all away because you want to make assumptions. We're going to show y'all today what's really going on. You feel me? So no disrespect to anybody out there, anybody that's rocking with Zip with the Drip, but it's just not factual if you're saying, you know, there's any form of Islam where you can get away with terrorism or selling drugs, and that's not acceptable in any form of it. Facts, you know. So that's what we're here to speak on today. And I thank y'all for joining us. Let's get with it. Feel me? Now, if I'm not mistaken, ENQI, the first and foremost, matter of fact, hold on. Yeah. Share that screen right there. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm working with you. Hold on.
Now, while you do that, the reason why I was called
which screen am I
specifically,
sharing?
go to the news right there.
Okay, wait, hold up. I got a whole nother screen that's open.
Yeah, that screen right there is open.
Wait, hold on. No.
So the reason I was the statement that was made specifically that I was called in for
This
was,
one?
huh? Yes, sir. So before we go any further, somebody asked, have I read the Quran? Yes, sir. However, we all know the Quran can only
Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted.
I'm not getting distracted. I'm not getting distracted.
Yeah.
This is
Don't let them even. Don't even let them come into the lesson.
This is important because the point is that we're talking about is this brand of Islam that we see here in America. You get what I'm saying? There's a way. Okay, it's like what we see with the Hebrew Israelites and all of that. There's a way to take a tradition and say, well, this is my version of it. I'm the lost tribe of. You feel me? So this is what the brother has tried to do with the Shia thing. This is very important. I'm glad they typed that down there because this goes into what we're about to read. So why are we reading a news report about executions in Iran? Iran is the #1 country for Shiaism. There's only 4 countries that deal with Shiaism. Why are we talking about that? Because zipwitthedrip said that every comment we've come to him about Islam, every discussion we come to him about Islam, he says, well, I'm Shia, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm Shia, it doesn't matter. As if Shia doesn't use the Quran. As if Shia is not part of the Ummah. As if Shia has nothing to do with Islam, the religion. As if they got their own special brand of it. That's not facts.
Okay, now hold on for a second, because you keep using the term Shia, and Zip said he's a Shiite. So can you explain the difference between the term Shia and Shiite?
So Shia is individual. So Shia be like, I'm Shia, he's Shia, we're Shia. Shiite is in the plural. So this is a Shiite nation. Those people are Shiites. It's in the plural. That's the only difference.
Okay. So for the record, when he says Shia, he is talking about the Shiite Muslim tradition.
Yes. Now, people may take that and think, okay, Shiite, like Catholic and Protestant, right? Not so much. The numbers aren't quite the same. The Shia are such a small fraction of the Muslim community. There are only 4 nations where the Shiite make up the majority. You see what I'm saying? That would be Bahrain, Iraq, Iran, and I forget how to pronounce this exactly. Azerbaijan.
Well, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, Crip. We won't even have to worry about that. Yeah, we won't even have to worry about that because Zip has already said he only follows taqlid or takes information or instructions from the Ayatollah of Iran.
Yes.
So clearly, whatever the country layout is, he's talking about the form of Shiitism, if that's the correct terminology for it. He's talking about the specific sect of Shiites that follow Iran, or maybe that live in Iran, which would further confound the issue of how did he become this type of Muslim in the first place. But go ahead, finish breaking it down to us.
Well, from the perspective of going with the majority, so in Shiaism, the majority, the overwhelming majority, are what they call 12er Shias, and that is the kind that the Ayatollah in Iran professed. And like I said, of all those 4 countries I named that have the majority, Iran is the only one with the overwhelming majority of Shiite population, almost like 80 to 90%. So they would be for sure the center of the Shia movement. So if you were just to kind of grab onto it and throw yourself in the middle of it, you kind of get what I'm saying? That would be like the brand label. That would be the Sony Records of the Shias, right? Oh yeah, I'm with the Ayatollah, right? But here's what's funny though. This is what I wanted to show. What has happened under the Ayatollah's rule? This is from Amnesty International. This is not just from any old body. It's Amnesty International. These are the drug guys. They got all the statistics. The official positions have translated into a horrifying upward trajectory since 2021. 481. Let's go back. Anti-narcotics law. This is dealing with Iran, right? 481 drug-related executions in 2023, constituting 56% of the total number of executions. This marks an 89% increase from 2022, when 255 people were executed for drug-related offenses, and a 264 increase from 2021, when 132 people were executed for drug-related offenses. Iran's Baluchi minority accounted for 29%, 138 of drug-related executions in 2023, while constituting only 5% of Iran's population, exposing the discriminatory effect of the authorities' anti-narcotic strategy in the most marginalized, impoverished community. So this is showing, this is the same, like you see, even worse. I would imagine the type of marches and outcry they have in America if they did this to drug dealers. They are not playing about drugs over there.
Can you read that again though? Like what can you go back over that again?
Okay. This is just real quick because we got more. But just in, this is in 2023, right?
Yeah.
They had 481 drug-related executions in 2023, constituting 56% of the total number of executions. So they had about 1,000, right? And over half of them were drug-related.
So hold on 1 second, Crip. So this is what I'm saying. For clarity, I am not imposing my way on anyone's right to take a risk. By all means, come up however you got to come up. Right? Come up how you get there, how you whatever coming up means to you, like do that. Like get to that space, get to that level by any means. Do what you do. I'm just saying, let that stay wherever that needs to stay. Right? Don't take a risk to come up and then say, as a practicing Christian, Christianity, it's okay for me to sell this crack real quick because God knows I'm trying to hit this. I'm trying to hit this club this week. I mean, I'm trying to pay this bill right now. So, Jesus is working with me with this. Don't say that you was following definitely don't say that you coming out the conscious community and, based on the conscious community, it's, in fact, we actually already had this in the conscious community before. We had a brother, I ain't even gonna say who he is or where he's from because then people will catch it too quick. But he literally said, it's okay if you sell crack to your own people as long as you take the money that you earn from selling crack and buy you a round trip ticket to Egypt to see the pyramids. So we kind of, yeah. So the bottom line is don't put that risk taking or whatever it is that, maybe recreational ways that you may pass your time or whatever the case may be, hint, hint, wink, wink. Like, don't lay that onto your better self. Don't lay that onto the organization that you may have joined or you may be thinking about joining. If you should happen to see a Mason somewhere drunk, or you should happen to see, you know, this guy or that guy is Muslim, but he's selling drugs or he's using drugs or whatever the case may be. That does not represent Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, you know, none of those things. It just references a person's poor choices and poor risk taking and, you know, risk assessment in many instances. But I just wanted to say that as we're talking about it, because I come from a long line of family members that, you know, we've been on the plant-based lifestyle for a long time.
Well, I like to point out another perspective that this goes on to also prove that we can't just let anybody that sounds good say whatever anymore. Those days are over, you know, and now this is proof that we have people amongst us right now in the conscious community getting platforms by people like Sarnetta and all that, putting them in front of hundreds and hundreds of people to spew out blatant lies. I refuse to believe Netter and them don't even have an inkling. I'm not saying they know the exact numbers. They know it's 481 executions for drug-related crimes. But I refuse to think these brothers, the leaders of the new school, the leaders of new thought, have no inkling of this type of stuff going on in the Middle East. So it's almost like just for entertainment. Oh yeah, let them go say that crazy shit. And not to get emotional, but I feel like they jumping on you, and I'm like, they letting them jump on ENQI with shit that we all have. Oh, God, yeah,
no. Let me speak on Sarnetta's behalf. So, I'm the like, when it comes to the House of Consciousness, right? Like, it's weird, right? Because if you go over there, they're gonna will tell you that Jabari is the champion of the House of Consciousness, or Captain Tazariak, or whoever is the current person that, you know. But in reality, in like the larger scheme of things, I'm the champion of the House of Consciousness. So that's why he always feel comfortable letting it don't matter what the odds are, because he know I can handle mines. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to Zip was unexpected. So Zip wasn't planned. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch the debate with me and Sarnetta, there's points in the conversation where Sa could not even hold it in. He had to bust out laughing and make it seem like he was laughing about something else. But Sarnetta was a practicing Muslim before in his life. So it was a lot of the shit that he was like, the shit Zip was saying was just so off the wall. You know what I'm saying? Pardon my French. The thing Zip was saying was so off the wall that you had to laugh at somebody using Islam to defend selling crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta laugh at some of these things.
I know that energy. I've seen it in prison. I've seen it in the streets. I've seen it in the East Coast. And as much as we like to look at it like, oh, look at this ignorant dude, ha ha, there's children following these people. He even said, man, you worry about that teach the baby shit. Send them over here to me, and I'm gonna tell him to do. It's like, bro, he blatantly, before dudes were scared to talk like this out in the public, he blatantly telling us, I'm gonna take your babies and make them drug dealing killing machines. It's the same thing we see with Wahhabism in the Middle East. It's not nothing to be played about. And I want to do another video showing how in the early 1900s during World War I, the British sent spies. I'm not making this up. Look up a man named Lawrence of Arabia. He was a British spy sent to deal with the Sunni and the Wahhabi movement in the Middle East. That's how they established the Saudi state. At the same time they were doing that, the U.S. got involved and they started doing the same program in Brooklyn, New York. I just did a video on it with the Egyptian brethren. They were taking brothers out of the projects, out of the ghettos and all that, flying them to the Middle East, and this is real Islam. And they coming back with that same terroristic mind frame. And you know, at first we just think it's some niggas with some religious debate. Come to find out, no, they full-fledged over here turning dudes out. And it's ridiculous. And I just hope to tell people it's cool to be religious, but at some point your morality and your heart and your logic got to kick in. to realize what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling. There's nowhere your gut's not wrong when it's saying, I think this illegal this rifle in these drugs and these, I don't think this is right. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there's nothing they can quote from a book that should make you think that that's right. So that's what we're here today, talk about logic. You can say what you think the this say and the that say. We're gonna show you what's going on in them Shia countries you're talking about, not in your backyard, not in your living room where you make this stuff up at. We're gonna share that
Right.
screen. We're gonna get to it. Mm-hmm.
What's important to me is that people don't get the wrong idea about what Islam is and begin to think that it's especially a Shiite cult of Islam. That's not the mainstream, and it's not a friendly offshoot. It's not a friendly offshoot. The Shiite is those tend to be some much more militant organizations. So it's going to come with a higher level of discipline.
A way to escape and even be more dealing with yourself. Because this is the thing. Remember, Islam is all about submission. If you don't get nothing from Islam, you should get submission. You should get, I got to get down on this ground. I got to listen to somebody. I got to do what the imam say. I got to do, right? So it's discipline. That's what it's all about. So if you're not walking away with discipline and submission and humility, as far as the energy you're getting, then you're not dealing with Islam. I don't care how much you grow your beard out, what you say, this is the real deal. Cool. What does that have to do with peace? What does that have to do with submission to the will? It has nothing to do with it. You know? So this is what we get. Now, Islam, it breaks down into Sunni and Shia. Now, Sunni being the overwhelming majority, 85%, sometimes more. Shia being the underwhelming minority, 15%, in some cases, way less, right? Now, is it way less because it's like what we see in some religions, the esoteric branch, the let's say the mystical branch? No. This goes to a division that developed long ago in the beginning of, you know, what we know as the religion of Islam, in the split between the family of the prophet and the people who are not of the family of the prophet. Now, who's the prophet? Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, the progenitor, the father, the beginning of what we know today as Islam. His bloodline, the people who follow that bloodline, make up 15%. The rest would make up, you know, everyone else who converted, all the bunch of other countries that joined on, and everyone else. But those first families, those first bloodlines, and the people who follow them fall under what's known as Shia. This gives people a feeling sometimes to say, oh, I don't want to follow the Sunni. I'm Shia. I'm following the real deal. I'm part of the real. This is when I compared it to the Hebrew Israelites, saying, okay, similar to someone not necessarily going along with the mainstream version of religion and saying, well, I'm dealing with the real, right? Now, if they do that and they fall in line with what's righteous, what's conducive to self, then so be it. That's proper. But if this makes you fall into line of selling drugs, becoming terroristic, becoming fanatical, becoming dangerous, becoming something that brings harm to your society, then no, it's obviously not right and exact. So here we have a graph. People lie, numbers don't. So this is the percent of Muslim population that is Shia in Iran, 90 to 95%. There is no other country on earth that has the percentage of Shia people inside of it as Iran. Even if you found a higher number, We're talking about the density, the fact that almost everyone there is Shiite. Now, Azerbaijan is 6.
Crip, you can't hear me? I'm asking you a question real quick. Just for clarity, like how would Iranian Muslims be able to convert like people in the New York prison system into being a Shiite Muslim? How would that link up?
It wouldn't link up. What would happen is everything have to be done realistically, especially Islam. So even in Sunni Islam, you're not just at home saying, I took my shahada, I'm down now. There's dudes that do that, but that doesn't really count. Not to say that it doesn't count your relationship spiritually with you and Allah. But there's an actual record here. There's, you know what I mean? When you take your Hajj, and you ever heard the story about how when Malcolm X, matter of fact, remember the story how Malcolm X took his Hajj and they made him visit with the leader and all that before they would even allow him into Mecca? They didn't care if they knew he was Muslim. Yeah, they didn't care about that because that's, you know, this is real. So they had to mark him down in the book and make sure, you know, they questioned him and seen everything was written. They had to prove of it, let him in. So it's the same thing with the Shia, meaning that I don't know who he's hooked up with. I'm not going to go that far, act like I'm, can see through walls or anything, but there has to be imams involved that are literally connected. He's not going to be able to do that just for, I mean, he can do whatever he wants to in his mind, but it's not realistic if you're just in your living room making up stuff and saying, and don't get me wrong, I see this a lot in prison because in prison you have a lack of connection. So you may be in prison studying. So now you want to be Muslim. Now you're learning about the different types of Muslim. Now you come out, oh, I'm Sunni, oh, I'm Shia, oh, I'm Sufi, oh, I'm Salafi, oh, I'm, you know what I mean?
So here's my question. Looking at what we see here, right? Going back to this for a second here, just for clarity before because I see you moving on and we're going into a different part of the information. And I just want to put like an exclamation point on what you broke down to us early on in this article. What you're saying is that I'm not even going to use Zip in the example. God forbid anything happens to Zip, right? So let's say an individual, let's say a young black man, his 20s, 30s, 40s, prime of life. Let's say a young black man gets caught selling or using some drugs in Iran. What would exactly happen?
He could possibly be executed for sure. High possibility.
So
execution.
So it's safe to say
not talking to, not lashing, execution. Death,
execution.
Yes. And what's funny is you don't see these type of here's what's so funny about him talking like this. Some of us, and I say this in the Black conscious community, that's what this conversation is about. That's what we're talking about. It's about us getting more tighter on our information, if you ask me. Some of us are so, looking for that feel-good information, religious zeal, that when we study these places, like when you hear dudes talk about Egypt, you hardly hear dudes talk about Egypt from a political standpoint, what's going on with the Arabs there and all that. They'll skip that and go straight to 6,000 years ago, Amun-Ra and all that type of shit. When dudes talk about the Middle East, they go straight to the Bible. So what's happening with him is he wants to argue about Islam and the Shias, but he's not talking about realistically what's going on now. If he knew what was going on in Iran right now, Iran stays in the community in conversation amongst the United Nations in the developing first worlds because they have so many executions. Iran is always in conversation about human rights and execution and capital punishment because they are one of the #1 capital punishment countries in the world. Like the brother 77 Figure said, he be tarred and feathered. He be tarred and feathered in Iran for even talking like that. Because remember, it didn't say, hey, ENQI, I want to point something out to you. It didn't say it had 481 executions for drug selling crimes. It said drug related crimes. Nigga, you just getting high talking about doing drugs and all that. They own you. So Bahrain has 65 to 75% Shiite. Iraq has about half. Lebanon, same. And from there, you have small populations in different countries. Iran is believed to execute the most people per capita. Let me repeat that again. Iran is believed to execute the most people per capita. Iran insists that the execution numbers human rights groups allege are exaggerated and that executions are only carried out after a lengthy judicial process. Iranian officials cite that they are fighting a large-scale drug war. ENQI, why is that the number one thing they point out about their executions? Because that's what they execute the most about. They said, oh, we're doing some executions because we're fighting a large-scale drug war. Let me finish reading that. Large-scale drug war. My bad. I just got so excited in the middle of reading. Large-scale drug war along its eastern borders and the increase of drug lords and dealers causes a rise in executions. According to the BBC, Iran carries out more executions than any other country except China. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Is this dude talking about some religious ideal that he feels nice about that he learned in the jail? Oh, yeah, you know, I'm Shia, man. I ain't tripping. Or is he talking about the real? Because the real Shias, they don't play that. They hate drug dealers.
So hold on. So in essence, it's pretty much safe to say that you cannot be an actual drug dealer, like an active drug dealer. Like you could reminisce on your history, but like you can't be an active drug dealer and be a good Shiite Muslim.
I don't even think you could reminisce in the actual Shiite nation. You could do that shit in America. But if you're in the Shiite nation where they executing 500 people a year, I don't think you want to even mention that you ever sold drugs.
Hey, ADLEL, is that you?
Oh, no, that's my boy. My bad. I that was on accident. I sent them the link.
Okay.
He knows about this too, though. He's a Muslim brother. But yeah, man, it's quite laughable because now I'm about to show you those other nations. Now people might think I'm going to stick on Iran, but I'm gonna show you how all the shit. Forget what the shit. Look at the game people play. That's like a dude come to you with a Bible and say, "Look at this Bible. This is what the Christians do." Is that true? When you go around Christians and see them dancing and drinking, does that have to do with the Bible? So don't play that game with me. This is the book. This is what it says. No. The Shiite go to the same book that the Sunni go to, the Quran. And we all know that Sharia law don't deal with drug dealing at all. But here's what's funny that you pointed out, brother, that I want you to hold on to and every other one else watching that ENQI pointed out. The Shiite are more disciplined, more strict than the Sunni. They don't not follow the 5 pillars. They follow the 5 pillars and some. They don't not just follow Sharia law with the drug dealing and execution. They follow that and some. They do even more executions. You know what I'm saying? So this is backwards what he's saying. To say, oh, I don't have to do that because I'm Shia. That's mistaken. Whatever we can propose that is considered righteous behavior, you would have to do that and some as a Shiite. That is ridiculous for him to say, oh, I'm Shiite. I don't do that. No. So I'm going to show y'all the other 4 countries that have a Shiite majority and how they react to this type of behavior. So in Iran, look, Still, this is just last year. They were the nation with the highest known executions last year. Of the total 576 instances of capital punishment, 279 people were sentenced for murder, 255 for drug-related offenses, 21 for rape, and 18 on charges of enmity against God. The latter charges included 2 men who were detained as a result of sweeping anti-government protests in the Islamic Republic last year. These increases were as a result of executions for murder and drug-related offenses. Recorded executions for murder had risen sharply by 75%, from 159 that recorded in 2021 to 279. And that is the Ayatollah right now. Now, there's the Ayatollah before him, the famous one who came to power in the 70s. And a lot of black people like to mention the first Ayatollah because 2 reasons. Let's get into a little American history here. At the same time that you had Malcolm X and Noble Drew Ali and a lot of the movement that was, supporting Islam in America and promoting Islam to black people in America, right? You also had a large immigration of Iranians to America during the Iranian Revolution of the 70s. And that was when the first Ayatollah came to power. And he spoke out and said, against the U.S. government and called them imperial, said they were holding the black people here hostage. So, yeah, you have black people who he became popular amongst after that. That's just for a statement he made about holding us hostage. Them same black people, if they knew how they felt about drug dealers and all that over there, not saying black people are innately drug dealers, so that would deter them. I'm saying these same black people who are saying, yeah, to the Ayatollah for saying that, and these same New York dudes who turn around and talk about selling drugs, they don't realize that the same Ayatollah that they're saying yay to, he's not with none of that. He's not with any of that. Okay? And if you think about the Iran-Contra controversy in the 80s, why was the word Iran on the front of Iran-Contra?
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe. They've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support.
My name is Minister ENQI. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own.
Now, we go to the Azerbaijan province, another Shia majority nation, right next to Iran, same culture, same Ayatollah. Iranian authorities executed Mohammed Khaled Jahangiri, a prisoner of Aramiya, West Azerbaijan province, on drug-related charges in Tabriz Central Prison East Azerbaijan province on August 22nd. According to statistics compiled by the KHRN, at least 12 Kurdish prisoners have been executed in the past 4 weeks in various prisons across the country, including those in Urumiyeh, Kermanshah, Gazel Hasar, Karamabad, Sanadaj, Sabzevar, and Mian Doab. These prisoners have been convicted on charges ranging from drug offenses to premeditated murder and spreading corruption on earth. This is dealing with hold on. This would be dealing with, hold on. Okay, so you have Azerbaijan, you have Iraq, you have Iran, and you have Bahrain. 7 men have been handed down various sentences on drug-related charges, Northern prosecutor Mohammed al-Maliki announced. The higher criminal court sentenced the first and second defendants to death for the possession, planting, smuggling, and dealing in drugs. They don't deal with none of that. Okay? The planting.
Hold on. Can you rewind that and read that again? I just need you to read that one more time.
Okay. 7 men have been handed down various sentences on drug-related charges, Northern prosecutor Mohammed al-Maliki announced. I even went down the whole list here. This is the first 2. The higher criminal court sentenced the first and second defendants to death for the possession, planting, smuggling, and dealing in drugs. The court also sentenced the third defendant to life imprisonment for smuggling drugs for trading. The 4th, 5th, and 6th defendants were sentenced to 1 year in prison for drug use. And the 7th defendant was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the use of a psychotropic substance. They're not playing with this stuff out there, man. Just using drugs gets you years. You see what I'm saying? So how can we go as far as to act like, oh, no, shit, do we want? No. And mind, this ain't no ancient stuff. December 2023, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani made a controversial statement urging the president of the country to ratify all death sentences for convicted drug traffickers. He said this is necessary to implement the law and be a deterrent to anyone who dares to threaten the security of the country and its people. They are not playing about drug dealing out there.
Oh, wait, there you go. People can hear me now. This is what I was saying. My bad, Crip. I paused, I muted your mic so I could go, and then I didn't unmute my. So anyway, my bad. But this is what I was saying about the example of ignorance, right? Because there's a high level of ignorance at work here. In the same conversation as Zip is explaining that because the Quran was revealed in 700, et cetera, and crack was invented throughout the 80s, it's no way that the Quran could have outlawed crack because crack was invented way after the Quran, so there's no way they could have. And I'm explaining crack may have just been invented, but drugs been around for a long time. Entheogens, psychiatric, like whatever the type of, mind numbing, enhancing, like all of these different things have been around because they come from plants. So maybe the current form that's on the marketplace is a new thing, but poppy opium, cannabis, like these things been here since before people. These things been here since before people. So, you know, this is the type of people that are propped up on the internet that are also providing health advice. See, that's where I got to keep this conversation grounded, right? Because, and I'm about to turn it back over to you so you can finish breaking this Shiite thing down to us. But this whole conversation starts with him dissing Dr. Sebi, him feeling offended that I'm saying that certain segments of the YouTube has to improve, improve what it is that they got going on in terms of the content, adding in certain, just some positivity every so often to the. Somehow Zip gets in his mind that CMOS, this is the same person now, mind you, that's telling us he somehow get in his mind that CMOS don't come from where Black people come from, that all CMOS is one type of CMOS, that algae grows on the north side of trees. Like he literally said that out of his mouth. CMOS only grows in America and Europe. Like, let me just show y'all an example. Can y'all see this? This is 3 different types of powder right here, right? This right here is really tan. You could barely see it because of the green screen, but this is really tan. This right here. It's making the tip of my finger disappear now, but this is a really light tan color. This in the middle, see that? That's a closer, a deeper greenish color. And then this over here, this is a dark purple color right here. All 3 of these are listed as Irish moss on the internet. All 3 of these are supposed to be the exact same product. Only one of these on the end, this, is what goes in Blue Magic. Only one. This here and this here. In fact, I'm going to take a picture and put it on the screen so y'all can see exactly what I'm saying. Because I want y'all to understand exactly what I'm saying in terms of credible information, right? Just in terms of credible information. And I know because the green screen technology is on the on my camera and the computer, that is, there we go. Are you working? Okay, there you go. Okay, now you can see what I'm saying with the 3 different. Now, on the internet, all 3 of these are listed as the same thing. So this is not 3 different algae. This is all listed as the same exact type of sea moss. So when you go on the internet, you could go get Irish moss or Chondrus crispus, and it could look like any one of these. It could look like any one of these, right? This right here, the yellow one all the way on the top, you see that there. That's the most popular. That's the most popular. Most people buy sea moss. That's what they know. Most people would think something's wrong with the sea moss if it came that greenish, brownish color that's in the middle. And that all the way at the bottom, that dark, black, purplish, reddish looking one, That's literally what I grind down myself in my house on my own grinder. That's how it looks. And I didn't know it was supposed to look like that until I went in the ocean, got my own, and came back to the house and got my own grinder and broke it down myself. I didn't know it was supposed to look like that. Like everybody else, I thought that yellow powder on the top was supposed to be what it looked like. So anyway, what I'm saying is it got to be the real information. You got to have it got to be the real deal. You see what I'm saying? You can't just use any frivolous because it sounds good, because the person has charisma and believe that it's all wise, right, and exact. That's why I have CRIP, breaking this down in detail for you. Anyway, back to you, CRIP.
Yes. And all my people, I was just doing a series on this called Islam in Egypt. Check me out on my YouTube, CRIP Jesus, author of the Blue Bible. Tap in. And I got a new book dropping called The Black Indian Wars. Like ENQI said, that's what he knows me for. That's why I even stick with the CRIP name. I'm dealing with tribes, indigenous, us here in the Americas. Now, this is dealing with us, the indigenous, the original people of the Middle East. I feel this is a good topic because in the midst of us trying to find our identity, we sometimes skip the identity, the nationality in the history of the people we're reading about. You get what I'm saying? We'll read about Egypt, but not deal with the people that's there and what's going on there politically. We'll read about Morocco, but not deal with the people that's there and Arab history and the religion that's there right now today. You know what I mean? We'll talk about the Middle East and deal with the Middle East, not deal with the people that's there and the language they speak and what's going on there today. So sometimes it's time for us to bring these things to reality. And the problem is when you deal with them from this type of mystical standpoint, it leaves the gate wide open for someone like the brother we're discussing to come in and say, oh, no, this is what's really going on. Then you can mix and match it. Oh, Ayatollah. Somebody Googles the picture of Ayatollah, sees he's there, says, oh, okay, he's talking official. Nah. Let's break this down. So I like this picture. It says, she Shia, she Sunni, showing you there's no difference in the way they dress. There's no difference in the book they read. It's no difference in the language they speak. It's very to little difference in even their culture. It has to more to do with a political breakdown and even a geographical breakdown of where you were born, what type of family you were born into. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you would see if you were from a whole nother country, you saw the Bloods and Crips. It would look like one group of people. It would just be they got on different colors. So the minority Islamic branch that believes Muhammad appointed his cousin Ali as his successor, and that the caliph should be decided based on bloodline in this family lineage. So this is how this even came about. Muhammad's close companion Abu Bakr of the Banu Taym clan was elected the first caliph in Medina. So Muhammad, being the prophet, being the leader, being the head, when he passed away, his close friend Abu Bakr was elected the leader. However, this is when the division started because there was another group of people that felt like Muhammad's cousin Ali, who was the father of his grandson, he didn't leave a son behind to be in power. He left his daughter. His daughter was married to his cousin Ali. The people felt like his cousin should be the second in command, the new leader. Okay. But Abu Bakr was. And he began the conquest of the Arabian Peninsula. His brief reign ended in August 634 when he died and was succeeded by Umar, his appointed successor from the Banu Adi clan. Under Umar, the caliphate expanded at an unprecedented rate, ruling more than 2/3 of the Byzantine Empire and nearly the entire Sasanian Empire, which is Persia. Umar was assassinated in November 644 and was succeeded by Uthman, a member of the Banu Umayyah clan, who was elected by a 6-person committee arranged by Umar. Under Uthman, the caliphate concluded its conquest of Persia in 651 and continued expeditions into the Byzantine territories. During his reign, rebels rose, and he was assassinated in June 656. So you've had 3 people follow after Muhammad, and none of them were part of that official family that was left behind, that had his grandson, his daughter, his cousin, and who the Shias, there's no Shia at this point, who what would become to be the Shia, the people that followed this family. This is where it begins at, because this family, during the first 3 leaders after Muhammad, they weren't in power. Now, Kufa is one of the 5 Iraqi cities that are of great importance to Shiite Muslims. The city was founded in 638 during the reign of the second Rashidun Caliph Umar. So you had Abu Bakr, then you had Umar, and then Uthman. While Umar was in power, right? During the reign of the second Rashidun Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, it was the final capital of the last Rashidun Caliph Ali. So after those 3 brothers ruled, Ali finally came to power, and a lot of Shias felt like he was supposed to be in power the whole time. But after he came to power, there was so much jealousy of him and his family, they ran him up out of there, and that was it. After that, it was a Shia-Sunni division. Kufa was also the founding capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. So when Ali finally came to power, they were able to form their own, what we would call in Christianity, an empire or kingdom. They called it a caliphate, a state led by a caliphate. And the caliphate that was put together during his reign became the Abbasid Caliphate. They were attacked so much in the Middle East where they were at, in Mecca and Medina, they had to flee and go to Baghdad. During the Islamic Golden Age, it was home to the grammarians of Kufa. Kufic script is named for the city. So those succeeded by Ali in the Hashim clan, they transferred the capital to Kufa. Ali presided over the civil war called the First Fitna and was unrecognized by Uthman's kinsmen. So this is when they leave and go to Baghdad. So the war cracked off, and there was a third faction called the Kharijites, who were former supporters of Ali. They rebelled against both Ali and the Muawiyah, who was the descendant of Uthman. So after Uthman, you have what's called the Umayyad Caliphate in Syria. So this is what you have happening here. That there's been at this point in time in Islam, there's so much division that half of the royal family has left to Baghdad, and the other people, the leaders who are following, they have left and went to Syria. So they're not even in Mecca and Medina, the power heads anymore at this point, right? And there's just conflict going on. Now, the war led to the overthrow of the Rashidun Caliphate and the establishment of the Umayyad Caliphate in 661 by Muawiyah. So he established it in Syria. He overthrew.
Okay, so hold on. So it's the year 661, and there's no Ayatollah and no Shiites yet.
No.
But there are Muslims.
There's the beginning of Shiite, what's going to be Shiite, but yeah. Those people that's following. So basically, you had the Rashidun Caliphate. These were the followers of Muhammad. You had the first 3 dudes. Then Ali comes to power. Once Ali comes to power, they divide it. Oh, this dude Ali's in power. So he goes to him and the family go to Baghdad and become the Abbasid Caliphate. While the dudes that are under the first 3 that got picked, they move to Syria and become the Umayyad Caliphate. So now they're at odds. So now at this point in time, half of Islam is beefing with the other half.
Okay, so half of Islam is basically saying we follow the students of Muhammad,
the successors.
but students basically. They're not blood relatives. They're just people who study.
They're close companions, homies, people that fought with them. Yeah,
they're students. They're students. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
and it's against Ali, who is flesh and blood of Muhammad.
That's where the Shia develops around him, around Ali and them.
Right. So this is the early development of Orthodox versus the Shiite or the Shia, because the Orthodox would be following the lessons. Like, okay, well, these were the first students, which means these were the first practicing Muslims. This means this got the oldest tradition, but on the other side, this has the most valid traditions because this is the actual family and bloodline, etc., etc. Now, people is saying that we not representing Zip correctly. So, really briefly, before you get to the Shiites, what I wanted to do is let Zip speak for himself. And then that way you could hear what he's saying at the same time as the audience.
The whole time, I'm like, what you got Ace of weed for? Yeah, the whole time. I don't even care about these niggas. The whole time, I'm just trying to get out. Somebody say, yo, I'm so happy the way you handle yourself amongst them non-believers on SHIITE channel. Like, you asked me once before, what kind of Muslim was I? Was I NOI or was I Orthodox? And then you asked me, was I Sunni? I told you, no, I'm not Sunni, I'm Shiite. So then when you run and you start using, like, I don't know who these niggas was. I don't watch them niggas, but I just know they ain't Shiite. Now, I can tell the way they dress, they ain't Shiite. You feel me? You go get these niggas and act like they top lid is what I'm following. I don't follow them niggas top lid. I don't give a fuck what them niggas gotta say. I told you in that same conversation that we was having on SHIITE platform that Allah is translated that Allah, it's translated that Allah say in the Quran that the Jews and the Christians went astray because they took what the monks and the rabbis said over what Allah had already said. And then you gonna go get some niggas that say it's totally haram to do something that Allah said it never was haram to do. How ain't a nigga on the planet, the prophet, tried to make something, the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tried to make something haram, and an ayah in the Quran was revealed, it is translated that Allah told the prophet, you do not make things haram. I make things haram. So if he told a prophet of Islam that, I don't care what a scholar of Islam got to say to her. Respectfully. I already read what Allah had to say. I don't care what a scholar of Islam had to say who's from a school of thought that I'm not jacking. Oh my gosh, how stupid are you? Yeah, you see how stupid I make you look on him? Yeah, you see how in tune I am with my belief system, that I know I can just smash everything. Any video you bring up that is not a Shiite nigga, I could smash that. And then when you bring up a Shiite nigga, who does he get his top lead from? Oh, he don't get it from the same person I get mine from? I don't care what he has to say. Yeah. You see, you a kafir, nigga. Yo, Mark Ramo, thanks for the super chat. He said you all right. See that you a kafir. You see, you a kafir, nigga. Yo, Mark Ramo, thanks for the super chat. He said you all right. See, doctor, you a kafir. So you don't know these things about the deen, you heard? I do. Like,
so clearly he missed the part where they just executed 600 people last year. They just executed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, here's the cold part about it. You see how he revealed his secret? He said, well, even if you say something that makes perfect sense, all I gotta say is
something. Yeah. I'm gonna say I disagree, but he can't disagree with this.
What you talking about, nigga? Not that they was selling crack, nigga. I sold crack, nigga. And if I had a good number on it, I probably would do it right now. Oh, you who believe, approach not prayer when ye are intoxicated until ye know what ye say. That's what I said, homie. Don't approach your prayer intoxicated until you know, because you can curse yourself.
Weed, marijuana, ganja, whatever it is that you call it, it is a type of khamr, and it is a transgression against Allah.
What I said, I talked on my live yesterday. I specifically said, I do not come over here and get into with these brothers, but I got to shut niggas down, son. I did all of that before. I read all of the books they read. I read them too. So now I'm equipped with something that y'all ain't equipped with.
There you go.
Let me ask you a question. Oh, let me ask you a question. So what does the Quran say about selling crack?
Nothing. Not a word.
An advice to anyone who is involved in the buying and selling of drugs, and more so the selling, specifically the drug dealers. What do you say, subhanallah? Wallahi, they are from, and you are from, the scummiest of people on the face of this earth, and wallahi, you can see the consequences that it causes with families, with people losing their positions and their jobs and their wealth and their health, and possibly even leads to suicide. How can you be so heartless to deal with drugs and the likes, seeing your community like that?
Oh, so it's lawful.
It don't say nothing about selling crack.
It don't say nothing about polluting the body.
The Quran was revealed 1,440 something years ago. 1,440 something years ago, the Quran was revealed, and you start asking me about selling crack. And if I had a good number on it, I probably would do it right now. What the Quran say about crack? The conscious community is sleep. If you're a representative for the conscious community, then the conscious community is sleep.
So our next question, Sheikh, is are we sinful for selling drugs?
Of course, selling drugs is haram. Is haram because it is considered as intoxicant. It intoxicates, it corrupts the mind of the person who uses it. It causes a lot of fitna, damage to the community.
Listen, does it say anything in the Quran about polluting the body? Perhaps. You mean you don't know?
Perhaps.
So you saying you don't know? When you say
I don't know everything in the Quran. I never sat here and said I know everything in the Quran. So perhaps it does.
Okay, so perhaps it stands to reason that maybe we're not asleep, and the things that I'm speaking on are things that you have yet to learn.
I know that crack was invented in the 1980s. The Quran was revealed in the year 700 and something. I know for a fact crack selling is not mentioned in the Quran. I know that for a fact. God gave me.
Hold on. And I also know for a fact that intoxicants, poisons, hallucinogens, and entheogens was not just invented, and time-altering substances have been around.
Okay, so it's translated
for thousands of years, and so the Quran speaks explicitly about poisoning the body and also about leading others to poison their bodies following your example.
I don't know too much about that. I know in the Quran, it's translated that Allah say, don't drink liquor. I don't drink liquor.
Me neither.
All right. I ain't asking whether or not you drink liquor. I'm saying that it's translated in the Quran that Allah say, don't drink. And the word is khamr. You translate khamr, that's fermented fruit, strong drink, wine. Allah say don't drink that. I don't drink liquor, you heard?
Shit like that.
Allah don't say don't put intoxicants into your body. It's translated in the Quran that Allah say, do not approach your prayers in an intoxicated state or until you know what you're going to say. The word there, intoxicants, the word there that's translated is sukkah. Sukkah, that means intoxicated. You could be that coming out of some hymen. You could be that arguing with your brother. That like in a state of life. And you don't know, you understand what I'm saying? So Allah don't say don't use high. Let me ask you a question. He say don't. It's high. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. Allah don't say don't use intoxicants. Allah say don't drink liquor. Allah say don't approach your prayers in an intoxicated state or until you know what you say. That's the dalil I got on that. If you want to know why I smoke weed, because Allah said don't approach your prayers in an intoxicated state or until you know what you gonna say. I know how to say it, you heard? I don't never get to slipping when I'm on no weed, you heard? What happened?
Hold on. So high is not the same as intoxicated.
Don't approach your prayers in an intoxicated state or until you know what you say.
Okay. So it's okay to be intoxicated as
Allah has said it is translated in the Quran. Or until you know what you are going to say.
So I'm just trying to ask a question for clarity.
Take that up with the scholars, homie.
So really, my problem is, so I smoked weed. I used to smoke weed, and at the same time, like I stopped for 2 hours before the prayer, so I can pray.
طيب زكريا, let's begin from the scratch. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, the Almighty Allah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. And this is the final stage that finalized the verdict on every intoxicant in the form of liquid or solid or the way of administration, inhalation, drinking or injection. All of that is forbidden. Every intoxicant is haram to consume. Whether before the prayer or after Isha, you still have several hours until Fajr. So you smoke weed. Smoking weed in Islam is a major sin. Is a major sin. And those who disobey Allah Almighty in this command, He distanced them from Himself. So be careful.
So this is what pardon self, yeah. So anyway, this is what I was saying before we go back. This is just what Zip, you know, for the audience that was saying what was Zip, you know, we're not representing. Hopefully that right there, Zip could give you a clear representation of how we got to this part of the conversation in terms of what Zip was saying.
With my wee all in your mouth, DM me on Instagram. I'm seeing my wee. I dare you niggas quote have God in your mouth, nigga. I see a picture of my wee. You niggas be having God in your mouth when it's convenient for y'all. Like what you doing? Like you just riding my wee for no reason. Get off my nuts, bro. Damn.
Flow versus flow, big bank versus little bank. His new nickname, Oscar Mayer or Little Frank, the sniffling and coughing ends in the coffin too hot. We know what you meant when you said you've been pushing the rock, gripping the biscuit, toting the llama, holding the pole, working the pistol. They have stolen your soul. On the internet, pretending to be a mobster. On the low, you a nature boy. Frank's in your chakra. Let's get to jail. The part they ain't quick to tell. 20 years with an asshole full of shit to sell. Zip had weed, dope, and K2 cents Rikers. Asshole open for business, even phones and lighters. Now, how you managing all that inventory? Was you bending over Salah? Or that's a different story. Tell us the real reason you mad with the backpackers, because you was forced to pack your back in the back of the shack. Kool-Aid, K2 crack, Raven noodle packs with lighters, burner phones, books, and blood wraps. Is this nigga Frank Ocean or Frank Sinatra? Is the Frank stand laundering money for mobsters? Be frank, are you really the street mogul boy, or was your ass literally the Muslim mobile store? Yo, hold up. Damn, I was fucking up the flow. This nigga's a clown. Ah, shit.
All right, so Crip, real quick. Now that we got a perspective on what Zip was saying in terms of he only follows the laws of the Shiites, not the Sunnis. Well, first things first, he said, you know, if I wanted any clarity on anything that he was saying, to get the Muslim scholars and ask the Muslim scholars. So from there, once I asked the Muslim scholars, he responds to that by saying, I got the wrong set of Muslim scholars. He's a Shiite. And so he only listens to a specific type of Shiites, or a specific type of scholar from the Shiite tradition. And so when we started to provide more references, he then jumped in my chat room in the live video and said that he only listens to the Ayatollah, referring to the spiritual leader of Iran. Now you're breaking down to us in detail, before there's a thing called Sunni, before there's a thing called Shiite, how the Muslim culture developed from Muhammad and created the split, the divide, that then later on led to the believers in the bloodline versus the believers in the students. Now, I'm going to say from the outside, I'm going to say that the Bible predates the Quran. I'm going to say the Bible predates the Quran, which could be wrong. That may or may not be wrong, but I'm going to say the Bible predates the Quran, and that in the Bible, it says that Islam is, in fact, a bloodline. So I'm not saying that the Bible's correct. That's, I believe that in the space that we're in, I believe that the Bible is definitely all wise, right, and exact more times than not. But I'm just throwing these ideas on the table that there's a space, there's a pocket where some people are going to say the Bible is just as credible as the Quran. And because the Bible is just as credible as the Quran, the Bible says that the Muslim, the children of Ishmael, Ishmael, and Hagar, right? Who is? Yeah, Ishmael and Hagar.
Abraham and Hagar had Ishmael, the descendants of Ishmael, the Ishmaelites.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Clean it up, damn it. That's why we got the Crip Jesus in the building, right? So the Bible says that this is a bloodline. Many people in today's scholarly circles or religious traditions circles, if you will, they would disagree. They would say that anybody can be a Jewish person or Israelite, or anybody could be a Shiite, a Sunni, or any type of Muslim, right? So what we're looking at is, and because one of the reasons why I got to, replay it out like this for the people and try to make it as plain as possible is A, so that people just tuning in understand where we at with the conversation with Zip. But then B, for people that's interested in more than just the conversation with Zip, because some people are now curious, period, in general. They're like, well, I never thought about this. Give me some more, they want to hear more about this. So some people think this is a contemporary conversation so that people can understand the historical significance of this. This is a debate that's been going on since before there was a Shiite culture and a Sunni culture. Those terms didn't even come into use until much later on. And people have killed and spilled blood for this very debate here. So I don't want it to go, you know, I don't want that part to not be emphasized as well. Like, we're having this conversation to hopefully spread light and information and protect Islam to an extent from people who would try to make it seem like Islam is a criminal culture or gives protection to criminal culture, right? That would be the wrong idea of Islam. So when that starts to be projected, you got to be careful, because it's not too long before that image. So once the image of Black people get married to the image of a Muslim, and then you start to redefine the cultural meaning and significance of Muslim to be criminal behavior, you taking Black folk all the way back to square one, where they have to deal with the cultural identification as criminals or their spirituality as criminality. So this is why we're examining this from a variety of different directions and showing people that this does have a historical significance in terms of people's spiritual systems and their understanding of spirituality. Because there's a space where if you're not born into a particular family, you can have the idea that you may be locked into godlessness. You may be locked into going to hell or not having a soul, or some of the other ideas that also are born in these initial concepts, right? If you have to be born into the family of the Israelites or the Jews, or born into the family of Ishmael, you know, you got to ask, you know, well, then who are the other people?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are the other people? So there's a lot of different angles that this conversation can, you know, a lot of different types of conversations, a lot of different angles and perspectives you could use to view this singular conversation. So anyway, all that said to say, this is why it's important that we get the exact specifics, how the Sunni and the Shia evolved, where the thought set is now, especially as we look at Iran as potentially, right? We're looking at Iran as potentially a country that we might wind up going to war with. Think about that. If we wind up going to war with Iran, this might be the most important video you got in the last 5 years on YouTube. Like, if we wind up going to war with Iran, it's going to be too late to cash at me. In fact, this is the moment where you cash app right now. The moment that you realize this video has, the moment you realize this video has a special significance is the moment you're supposed to go. And that's why I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing right now and send ENQI a few dollars because, right? Because ... ad infinitum. Like, this is the reason. This is the reason.
Charles to get more than that interview. Oh Lord, that's crazy. Home, I done got 40,000 for an interview. Damn. I went to California last year. Right after the BET Awards, man. I was right, man, 40,000. Nigga, I did a 8-hour interview.
Faith and love, love and faith, faith and love, love.
So definitely, man, please continue to enlighten us.
So basically, before any of these things, right, we had common sense. And this is what I don't want. This is what I don't want and I can't have before I leave this earth. This is why I wrote the Blue Bible. This is why I wrote the Black Indian Wars. And I beg y'all to tap in with me. Come to my YouTube, tap in with me too, because I'm all about thinking logically, thinking realistically, asking the people. Don't ask the non-Muslim what's up with the Muslims. Check with the Muslims. So what the problem is, in the Black American community, we've become overly religious. Even with our music, it's like, if such and such says it, it's golden. if you want to get a vote from the black community, put their favorite singer up there and let her dance around. They'll like you, right? It's like we look for idols. You know, it's funny they call that show American Idol, right? They'll turn you into something that the people will idol worship. And basically what that means is if we keep going with this type of culture, there'll be a million more zips. People that pop up, as long as they know how to work their mouth and you know, entertain you, they're your idol now. So whatever they say
Pause,
is
no zippy. Pause, no zippy. That was crazy right there. You said as long as they know how to pop up and work their mouth. Pause, no zippy. That was crazy.
You, as long as they know how to entertain you, you will go along with their version of Islam, their version of this and that. Something that you can easily in this day and time Google, look right up, and if you take it half seriously, and this goes on a lot with Islam. A lot of people in America only know Islam from what they see a rapper say or what they hear Malcolm X say, something that some idol that they've decided to let them be, you feel what I'm saying, their version of it. And I just welcome everyone to stop being so fearful. You know, the same way we look at Buddhism and Hinduism and Rastafarianism as cool things to check out. It's the same thing in Islam. It's just more discipline, more realism. And this is where I wanted to come in and say that Islam is a very practical culture. It's not as spooky as a lot of people try to make it, meaning that in Islam, you have the first universities, you have math created, you have script created, you have a lot of ways of practical, scholastic, academic thinking created by Muslims during the golden age of Islam, meaning that what he's saying, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what he's saying religiously. If you go and quote something, say, see, it backs up what he's saying. Culturally, think about what I'm saying. Can you go, see, look right here, it says Christians drink. Probably not. But you can see a million Christians drinking, right? So we're talking culturally. What Muslims actually do, they're not as religious as he is. This says, and the Quran says, they have practical ways of thinking. They sit down and discuss these things. They have schools of jurisprudence where they take these concepts and go back and forth, and different imams write hadiths about them. His opinion wouldn't even be on YouTube splattered around for everyone to hear in a real Muslim country. It would be, there's levels to this. So I just want everyone to know, let's, as a people in a so-called conscious community, let's be conscious. Let's be aware. Let's not take idols and people who we think are fun or funny and say, okay, yeah, so ENQI, what you gonna say now? I think anyone with common sense.
So let me ask you this, right? Because I want you to get back to the slides right before this one right here. Right before this one, where you was breaking down the Sunni and the Shiite. But what I want to ask you also, maybe before that, that's where you was at. You was at 661. Wait, what's the slide before there? No, yeah, it's somewhere in between here. You was at 661, somewhere in there. But what I want to also add on is, as you explain this to us, right? There's also going to be a group of people that watch this video, and they're going to say, why didn't he explain the Moorish aspect of this history right here? Or is this a part of the Moorish history? Like, is this at some point a part of the Moorish history, or is this separate from the Moorish history? Like, would Moors in America claim this as Moorish history, but maybe Muslims from Africa would not include the Moors? Or do they not, are the Moors not involved at this time period yet? Like, how would that?
So going forward from here, right? Well, I put this picture here. The Al-Abiyat refers to the family of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. In Sunni Islam, the term has also been extended to all descendants of the Banu Hashim. In Shia Islam, the term is limited to Muhammad, his daughter Fatima, his cousin and son-in-law Ali, and their two sons Hassan and Hussein. Unfortunately, the same place Zip gets his Islamic information is the same place that this computer is going to take us. A bunch of runaround. That's why you have your copy of the Blue Bible. Now let's go to where this connects to Moorish history. This is the beginning of Moorish history right here, actually. So During that time period, we were at the late 600s, right? Well, we have it divided between the Abbasid and the Umayyad. The Umayyad keep attacking the Abbasid. One of the members actually get ran out. That's how bad it gets. And guess where he runs to? Africa, West Africa. The other descendants of Fatima, they're already in Arabia and East Africa. Where they go? Further up to East Africa to Egypt area. I'll break it down. Idris the first of Morocco was Sharif. It's page 43 of the Blue Bible. Of the direct bloodline of the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him. The Sharif are legally both Hassanid and Fatimid. The Hassanid caliphates ruled Northwest Africa, while the Fatimid caliphates ruled Northeast Africa. The people of Adam used the term Sharif to pose as descendants of the Prophet and enforce their laws on us. In the English tongue, the term becomes sheriff. They inherited this title via integration. You feel what I'm saying? And I could show more. Okay, you have the Muslim Yor Yaqub al-Mansur was the third caliph of the Almohad Empire, found by the Ibn Tumar. He enslaved millions of Christians during the Holy Crusade. The captives he took were chained and shipped to Africa, where they were bought and sold. The word slave was derived from the ethnicity Slav. These are descendants of the Hassanid bloodline. So the Moorish connection would be when you find, now here's where it's funny. These are not Shias though. This is where we get into a whole nother video. These people are Sharif. So they were Shia technically when they went over there to West Africa, but as they joined in with the Turks and everybody else, they became Sunni. So that's why I say you can't divide it like that. Like, this is a conversation we can have for hours and hours and hours about who bloodline is what, but none of those bloodlines agree on selling drugs. None of them. They all execute drug dealers. Every group we've named, the Moors, not the religious group over here, the actual people in Mauritania, Morocco, and Algiers, and Tunis, and Libya.
Hold on. Okay, for clarity, so that I know I'm not confused, right? What you're saying is we can debate who's who, Sunni wise or Shiite wise, but no matter what sect of the 72 or the 73 sects of Islam or Shiites or Sunnis, or there is no sect of Islam on the planet Earth where dealing drugs, hard drugs. Now, if people want to debate cannabis, we talking about hard. If the
cannabis too. No, let's be real. Let's answer the question.
No. Cannabis too, because we clearly got the scholars to speak on it already. The scholars that already said we.
Okay, my bad. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Zip went further than that by saying if he could get a good deal on some crack right now, he would be dealing crack right now. That, like, he went that far to make his point. So I'm saying that we are in agreement right now in listening to you, going through the history, breaking this down to us from the beginning of beginnings, because this is before Shiite and Sunni. This is the beginning of beginnings, working its way up into the Moorish history, into the Sunnis, the Shiites. But you're saying none of these groups, no splinters of Islam in America, in Morocco, Mecca, Iran, none of these, it's all the same, off with your head.
Check this out. Not only am I saying that, I'm going to show and prove it to you. Even the so-called watered down Islam of the newer Islam, the ones they say, oh, we just converted out of nowhere, the Nation of Islam and the Moorish Science Temple, they don't condone doing drugs. It doesn't matter if you say, I got an uncle that's in Hawaii, he does drugs. It's not accepted. You get what I'm saying? Even they're off with your head with the drugs. They may not own the courts. They may not have control of the courts to off your head, but they're not accepting that. So here's the funny thing, though, too, I want to point out, though, is that not only do none of the branches deal with it, but let's talk about Islam. Let's forget the branches now. Let's go into Islam. Here's what's funny about it. Did you know in Islam, it's considered wrong to even boast about your sin? That it's considered that if you boast about your sin to others, or if you do something to others, do you know in Islam it's worse for you to sell drugs than to do drugs? Because you are actually the person who's facilitating the person who's moving the drug, making sure that they have a reason to move it. You're actually providing the high, causing the haram to the person. You're selling something that's haram. This doesn't just go for drugs. This goes for porn. This goes for liquor. This goes for all the things that are not permitted to be sold in the Islamic states, which have a lot to do with the difference between Christian states and Islamic states. Not so much about what God they like better. It's the ruling, what's allowed and what's not. And for him to say there's no such thing as crack, I'm going to end it with this. Is that so stupid? I'm going to name 10 things there wasn't no such thing of supposedly. Crack, first of all, it's a name, fool. The coca leaf plant existed when the Bible was around. It existed when the Quran was around. And if anyone would have took it and twisted it up and made it an intoxicant, it would have been considered wrong. Let's stop with the idiotic stupidity, argue back and forth all day, black conscious crap. It's like, come on, bro. This dude is literally taking plain logical things and saying, I don't mean that. It's all through Islam. There's some Muslim sects that don't even allow drinking coffee. Okay? So to say not only is it cool to do haram, but to sell haram to others, spread haram, promote haram, brag about haram, is the worst type of person you can be in Islam.
The worst type of haram.
You could be in Islam.
It's the worst type of haram.
Yes. That you could be is to brag about something and encourage others to do it, and it causes them sin. And I don't just mean sin as in there's some guy in the sky looking at us that's going to give us all a whooping for doing something wrong. I'm not here for religion. I'm talking logic, plain sense. If we become such a slow ass, autistic, dumb people that we can let a person randomly say it's cool to sell drugs according to such and such. Okay, y'all, let's sell drugs. Then it's a sad day in hell for us.
Hold on, Crip. I just want to deal with this right here real quick. I'm not sure if you could see it on your screen. It says there's no 72 sects in Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me add a disclaimer. Let me add some clarity. I'm not saying that there is 72 sects or 73 sects. What I'm saying is that Zip claimed that there is either 72 sects in Islam and that one of those sects is the correct one, or that the Hadith or Quran or somewhere Zip came with that information. That's information he presented, and I am not trying to challenge Zip on any smaller topics or other topics outside of what is surface level common sense that everybody can clearly see. If you're twisting this, then you got something going on. Like you got some type of agenda to mislead the babies, because there's no way to, like, and this is why I kept asking the question that I'm still asking as he makes rebuttal videos, like, address this one question. Why did you stop being a gang member and switch to being a Muslim? Because you didn't do both at the same time. There's a time when you first, at least listening to your stories, there's a time when you first got in jail, you was doing your gang thing. Then after a while, at some point, you turned Muslim and you started moving with a different crowd of people with a different type of whole energy. So what was the purpose in that switch? Because to me, I'm not trying to imply you did it for protection or to belong to a group or anything like that. To me, I'm seeing that as the moment where you decided to change and live a more positive lifestyle, which speaks back to what I was saying with the presenting a more balanced image, right? But you're trying to argue the point, so that means there must be another alternative. But just speaking to this comment right here, I didn't say, Like none of these claims that we're debunking or debating or discussing are our viewpoints. None of this comes from me or CRIP. I just want that to be on the record, that we're just rebuttaling some of the most crazy, foolish ideas that have been thrown out there and accepted by the large part of the internet as a part of Islam. And so I find it particularly dangerous. I find it particularly dangerous as Black people start to get more into Hollywood, as Black people begin to get more interested in selling the Black story, right? As that goes on, Black people will more identify with Muslims. America will start to depict, because it's already happening to a small extent, but as you get more and more film comes out, it's going to look like the Quran is the Black Bible, or the Bible is the white Quran, right? Not taking anything away from either or turning either against each other, but that's how it's going to shape up. And so any sort of criminalization of Islam or religion in period, any religion, you have to watch the language. You have to watch what you accept. You have to watch who promotes these types of ideas, because it could wind up later on becoming dangerous, and then you not knowing where you went off track. So hopefully I'm choosing my words carefully. But in the same way as the Jewish people take very seriously the rumors or anything that could even be construed a certain type of way, they take it super serious to the point where, like, that's almost the highest level of censorship is speaking out of pocket about that community in any shape, form, or fashion. And it's crazy how we haven't developed any sense of precognition to making sure that our imagery doesn't suffer another criminalization worse than what it's already been. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a space and time where it was forced. Now it's voluntary, even though we do have some rumblings of people trying to, like, yo, we need a little bit more balance out there. We want to see more. So, you know, we starting to see the Black intelligentsia put a foot forward out there and start creating some of that type of imagery. But, you know, these are some of the things that I'm taking notice of early on. Like, no, not on my watch. We're not going to let Islam become criminalized for the personal validation or style or of a, you know, individual person. Like, that's not how we're going to do it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And my whole thing is, I came for the scholarship reasons. I just feel like certain things, I damn near feel like it's a test. Like, watch me say this, and then if it goes past, it's like, oh, they went for it. Oh, you know what I mean? So my whole thing is, I'm just here to say, Zip, stop it, bro. That's not gonna fly over here. I don't know what you thought. You got the special sauce remix of Islam that you're gonna be able to fly over everybody's head over here. It ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? And you know, ENQI, we all know better, bro. We just giving you your day in court. We're not as brash as you. We're gonna actually sit back, look some things up, and show you. You're just gonna be like, I ain't gotta listen to that. And if people, you know, if people like that brand of debate or intelligence, then guess what? Those are people who we couldn't change their mind anyway. They're looking for that. So, you know, that's the good thing you're doing for us. You're separating the real from the fake right now. Because we know anybody that likes you saying, forget teaching the babies, bring them to me, and I'm gonna show them this version of Islam, and we're gonna be knocking heads and selling drugs and all that. And that's just anybody that laughs at that and says, yeah, you got work to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Like that to me, that goes right along with all the other people he be interviewing with. And I don't even know why we let him in these conversations. He be up there interviewing with Whack 100 in them, like pure like craziness. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a joke if you ask me, like what he's doing. It's like he's seeing what he can get past and what he can't, how much he can pull this off. You know, the Suge Knight of consciousness.
He thinking he trying to come over here and test the water and see if he could play.
Yeah, he's just he could be the Suge of the conscious community.
Well, as everybody knows, you're not going to be able to do that because I'm gonna jump on you quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on you quick if you so, and I'm the youngest elder, you know what I'm saying? I got the responsibility. I got to make sure, we maintain.
But just to answer everybody's question, no, Islam does not justify criminality. If you go to Islamic nations, they are even harder on drug dealing than they are here. Just the plain simple answer. You feel what I'm saying? Just the plain simple answer. Just to draw it back for y'all, because we're going on 2 hours now. Just to draw it back for y'all. The numbers speak for themselves. Every leader of every Shia predominant nation is executing hundreds of people for drug dealing. This is a fact.
It looked like using drugs too.
I mean, more execution than using, I'll tell you that. You feel me? And you know what's funny? This to people the last few days, a lot of people couldn't even believe there was such a drug problem in these nations. It's almost like a lot of us still think of these countries as like these Bible places with everybody's just, humble and uncivilized. And it's just funny how people really think of these places. So we got to wake up, y'all. These are real places with real things going on every day. There's news there every day. You can turn on the news and see what's going on in Bahrain. You can turn on the news and see what's going on in Iran. You can turn on the news and see this. It's not make-believe. You don't have to turn on Zip with the Drip and look for Bible stories to figure out what's going on in the Middle East. It's there right now. And that's where I really want to keep the conversation is we got to get off this fantasy thinking. We act like to talk about Morocco or Egypt or Libya or Iran or anything, it's always got to be a religious conversation. When he said that was a political statement. He's talking about drug dealing. First of all, drug dealing is selling anything is drug. The pharmacist sells drugs. So that's not really what the conversation is about. Let's be real. The conversation is about illegal drug dealing, gangs and stuff like that. Groups of people coming together with a bunch of illegal guns and illegally obtain money that they got to protect and selling dope. That's what we talking about. And hell no, I ain't accepted nowhere. Nowhere. There's no law-abiding. Matter of fact, there is no civilization on earth that's a bunch of drug dealers. How would that even work? You get what I'm saying? So it's just foolishness, And it's not realistic. And it for sure doesn't go with what we're about.
Okay, let me
Fuck you talking about, nigga? And not that they was selling crack, nigga. I sold crack, nigga. And if I had a good number on it, I probably would do it right now. Oh, you who believe, approach not prayer when ye are intoxicated until ye know what ye think. That's what I said, homie. Don't approach your prayer intoxicated until you know, because you can curse yourself.
Weed, marijuana, ganja, whatever it is that you call it, it is a type of khamr, and it is a transgression against Allah.
What I'm saying, I talked on my live yesterday. I specifically said, I do not come over here and get into with these brothers, but I got to shut niggas down, son. I did all of that before. I read all of the books they read. I read them too. So now I'm equipped with something that y'all ain't equipped with.
There you go. Let me ask you a question. Oh, let me ask you a question. So what does the Quran say about
What does the Quran say about selling crack?
Nothing. Not a word.
And advice yani, to anyone who is involved in the buying and selling of drugs, and more so the selling specifically yani, the drug dealers. Yani, what do you say, subhanallah? Wallahi, yani, they are from, and you are from the scummiest of people on the face of this earth. Yani. And wallahi, you can see the consequences that it causes with families, with people losing their positions and their jobs and their wealth and their health, and possibly even leads to suicide. Yani, how can you be so heartless to deal with drugs and the likes, yani, seeing your community like that?
Oh, so it's lawful.
It don't say nothing about selling crack.
It don't say nothing about polluting the body.
The Quran was revealed 1,440 something years ago. 1,440 something years ago, the Quran was revealed, and you start asking me about selling crack. And if I had a good number on it, I probably would do it right now. What the Quran say about crack? The conscious community is sleep. If you're a representative for the conscious community, then the conscious community is sleep.
So our next question, Sheikh, is are we sinful for selling drugs?
Of course, selling drugs is haram. Is haram because it is considered as intoxicant. It intoxicates, it corrupts the mind of the person who uses it. It causes a lot of fitna, damage to the community.
Listen, does it say anything in the Quran about polluting the body?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. You mean you don't know?
Perhaps.
So you saying you don't know when you say
I don't know
perhaps.
everything in the Quran. I never sat here and said I know everything in the Quran. So perhaps it does.
Okay, so perhaps it stands to reason that maybe we're not asleep, and the things that I'm speaking on are things that you have yet to learn.
I know that crack was invented in the 1980s. The Quran was revealed in the year 700 and something. I know for a fact crack selling is not mentioned in the Quran. I know that for a fact. God gave me.
Hold on. And I also know for a fact that intoxicants, poisons, hallucinogens, entheogens was not just invented. And time-altering substances been around. So it's translated for thousands of years. And so the Quran speaks explicitly about poisoning the body and also about leading others to poison their bodies following your example.
I don't know too much about that. I know in the Quran, it's translated that Allah say, don't drink liquor. I don't drink liquor.
Me neither.
I ain't asking whether or not you drink liquor. I'm saying that it's translated in the Quran that Allah say, don't drink. And the word is khamr. You translate khamr, that's fermented fruit, strong drink.
Now, just for those that's interested in the bloodline and the religious part of this, okay, let's get to it. So the brother says they want to talk about the true origins of Islam before the Arab takeover. Well, that was over 1,400 years ago. And if we're going to fix our communities by talking about what happened 2,000 years ago, good luck with that, brother. Talk about it all day till your face turn blue. But what about how it ties into right now? So how it ties into right now is the last Sunni caliph was a Turk named Abdul Mahid II, buried in 1944. Why does this matter? Because that's really what you see when you see the NOI them saying like this brother's the Mahdi, or when we see the Moorish Science Temple saying we're the real bloodline. What are they talking about? What they're talking about is under the authority of the Ottoman Empire, we had autonomy. And that authority has been erased, if you will, or overlooked since World War II with the fall of the Ottoman Empire. So the truth is the last person recognized as a caliph is this Turk named Abdul Mahdi. This is why you have the Ayatollah now. So the whole Sharif Sunni division, we need to stop worrying about that anyway. Now, the Sharif bloodline in the Muslim world served the same purpose as the sheriffs in the Christian world. The difference is one is born and the other is sworn in. So when you see right here, this is Ismail ibn Sharif of one of the last major emperors of the Moroccan Empire before it was expelled, distinguished, and became what you now have as the kingdom. And what's the point? Is this man was African in North Africa, dealing with a lot of people who were shipped over here, a lot of the boats that were going from the Mediterranean to the Americas and to the Caribbeans. This is later in the 1700s, and he had 1,117 children. Let me say that again. 1,117 children, all on the coast of North Africa. I'm pretty sure plenty of them became Berber pirates.
Okay, so hold on. So now if we go back, because there's some stuff that you kind of skipped over, right? So if we go back to the division that happens in the late 600s, and you have people in one city primarily following the students of Muhammad, and then you have the origins of the Shiite culture in another city developing where people only follow the bloodline of Muhammad. Now, which one of those two groups later on has connections to what our contemporaries would consider to be Moors or Moorish?
What I'm showing you right here, Ismail ibn Sharif. So you can't pick either. No, my bad. My answer is neither, bro. Because the Moors, the Moors in Morocco, in that area we're talking about, Tunis, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, all that area, they are, like I just read to you from the Blue Bible, they are of that bloodline that the Shia follow. However, while over there, let's stop acting like, not you, I'm just saying all of us, let's stop acting like this is one history that just goes in one pot, like it all happened in 1 or 2 years. This is 1,500 years we're talking here.
Facts.
So in the midst of Islam developing into what it is now, they became Sunni. You get it now? All those dudes in Africa pushed Sunni. They became part of the universal Ummah, the bigger group. But if you check their bloodlines and check their histories, a lot of them come from Sharif bloodlines. You feel me?
Okay, so a lot of what later on you saying became known as the African Moors, the Moroccans, the Berbers, those people. You're saying most of those people came from that original bloodline of the Shiites?
Yes, they are, like it says in the Blue Bible. You got the Hassanid Caliphate. Hassanid means you're a descendant of Muhammad's grandson. So that would be the Almoravid Empire, the Moravid, the Moors, the actual Moors, the ones that they call in the history books. The Almohad Empire, the ones they call Moors in the history books from 1200, 1300, over there in Northwest Africa. Then you get to the Mansa Musa and all that old stuff and all that. I'm talking about who we talking about directly after 711 AD. Tariq ibn Ziyad goes into Europe. All that shit. Yaqub al-Mansur captures 300,000 Christians. All that stuff. Ismail ibn Sharif in the 1600s got the pirates with him and having all these babies and all these white slaves. These Moors, these people we're talking about, they are descendants of the Sharif bloodline. But however, they end up, they're the people that follow them end up turning Sunni. You feel me?
Okay.
They don't follow the Shia. So that's what I'm saying. Even the whole argument about this the real bloodline, it's all of, man, I'm gonna just keep it real with you, bro. I'm not gonna bite my tongue. It's all of us trying to put the Christian, what we do in Christianity, opposing on the Islam. It's all the same arguments we have there. We're trying to just bring them over here now. Where it's not the same culture.
Facts. It's gonna get divided into Catholics versus Christians versus Seventh-day
Thank you. That's all dudes are looking for. They're trying to figure out a way to make it fit into that framework, and it don't.
Because what you're basically saying is that if there was family members still alive from that original bloodline, that they would be practicing Sunni Muslims?
No, it would be divided how it is, because it ain't like it's super old like that. I'm just saying the division is based on real things. So what I'm saying is this. Okay, you got a dude over here in Egypt, you got some other dudes in Libya. This group of Muslims stop messing with this group of Muslims because this cousin don't like this cousin, right? So here comes somebody like Zip 500 years later and say, oh, I'm with these Muslims instead of these ones, and we can sell crack and sell guns and pimp hoes because they cousin don't like they cousin. I don't gotta listen to you. It's just another way to justify your you know what I mean? Your bull crap.
Okay.
You're using, okay, so it's almost like a person says, I'm not Protestant, I'm Catholic. I can touch kids. No, you can't. Just because you're Catholic doesn't mean it's cool to touch kids. Yes, it is. I'm not with the Protestants. That's that Protestant stuff you talking about. Don't touch the kids. Nigga, we touch the kids over here. We Catholics.
The
like,
views and opinions of the guests are not necessarily the views and opinions.
Right? This is the equivalent of what he's saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm with these type of Muslims, so we can do this and that. That doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense.
No, I get what
There's
you're trying.
no group that pushes that.
I get what you're trying to get. It's probably not an analogy I would have probably used, but no, I definitely get what you're trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, we got to stop being so ridiculous at a certain
using any difference as a justification. So basically, I would even go this far to say this, ENQI. According to what Islam teaches and practicality, all religions come from one source. A lot of people don't know that Islam teaches this. Islam teaches that all religions come from one source, righteousness.
Because there's only one creator, correct?
There's only one creator. So whether they was meditating and got it handed, they all come from the heart, from righteousness. And in the people who, according to Islam, all prophets were sent to teach their people the truth, and their people corrupted their teachings, each one. That's the teaching of Islam, that every teaching we have on this earth, the people corrupted their teachers' teaching. You know what I'm saying? And Zip is just a perfect example of that, bro. It's just you take the teachings because it's practicality at the end of the day. It's morality. You feel what I'm saying? We're not looking for something that you could find in a book per se. We're looking for the book to inspire what's in our heart, bro. And that's what we need to wake the hell up to. It's getting sad now. Book quote after book quote after book quote. I don't need a million book quotes to know my grandmother helping a poor person on the corner with a jacket is not, oh, she Christian, though. Yeah, we ain't with them. We with the Muslims right here. We selling dope and packing Mac 10s. No, bro. Common sense. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. And until we can figure that out, we're going nowhere, because these Muslims.
So let me ask you this. Hold on. I gotta ask this. Now, since we thoroughly exploring this conversation of what's allowed in Islam and what's not allowed, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does Islam treat the idea of men inviting one another to the Frank stand? How is that looked at in Islamic culture?
What's the Frank stand? The hot dog stand?
Correct.
The Frank stand. To eat,
you know,
pork?
well, kind of, but no. You know, when you get angry with somebody and then you hit them with the SMD.
Mm-hmm. No. You're supposed to be, matter of fact.
That's what I'm saying. The SMD. No, listen to what I'm saying, because I know you out Cali, so they probably
use what you're saying. Yeah, SMD. So what I'm saying is,
so that's inviting somebody to the Frank stand.
Yeah, from my understanding, how I was taught, and you know, bear with me. I'm not the the Muslim of the year, but the way I was taught, if you have a misunderstanding with your brother, even if I haven't met you in person, like if we have some type of allegiance, whether it's just through our race or through what we believe in, or we're both teachers or whatever, and we come to a misunderstanding, we can't come to understanding, we take 72 hours, because it's understood in Islam that my initial reaction is probably going to be wrong. It's going to be from anger. So I got to take 72 hours before I respond. Or if we already crossed that line and went to the SMDs, then let me take 72 hours, you know what I mean, before it goes there. Unless you try to attack me, now I have to defend myself.
Well, technically, no, there was no Frankfurters that got put on the fire or, got to, initiate. That was something that he just went ahead and got into that on his own. He was handling himself.
But you know what's beautiful about even this? He
was handling himself, pun intended. but
look, even these questions, right?
Yeah.
In Islam, we would go to an imam. You feel what I'm saying? So even I don't even like the way he sits there and acts like he's the authority. Like, I don't understand.
No. But what I'm saying is I don't think there's some things you would need an imam. Like an imam would probably look at you like, why are you even wasting this time? Because you're supposed to know as a man, you're like, what are you doing? Like, how we having a religious conversation? Like, we going back and forth on core ideologies of Islam or core ideologies in debate. I mean, or diet or just whatever. We having more of a philosophy. I mean, it's we take some shots below the belt or whatever the case may be. Pun intended. I'm gonna keep them coming. That's another one. But it's Frankology. Zip understands the language very well. But what I'm saying is, there's supposed to be some level of decorum. Whereas when a person sees you, they can go, that's what a Muslim, that's what a Muslim looks like. That's what a Muslim looks like. That's a Muslim right there. Not necessarily, again, to reflect the behavior of a maybe undesirable element or somebody that would look socially untrained or undisciplined, or like they don't understand what a minimum level of, I'm just trying to figure out, again, how these Islamic teachings, because it seems like they could be barbaric and even violent or criminal from the outside looking in, especially if you linking yourself to Iran or some other, like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All I can say is this, bro. I would love to single him out, and I am singling him out. But I'm gonna point out before I go, because I do have another engagement, is that what the brother is doing is what I see a lot of groups doing now that we got Google and we got more information available. I'm going to say I'm the real version of this and make it up as I go. You know what I mean? I'm the real NOI. Wallace Ford talk to me, not them. I'm going to tell you how it really goes. Oh, I Googled this the right way. I'm the real lesson of the such and such. Let me tell you how it really goes. I'm the real Moorish. I'm the real Muslim. Bro, we don't care about that. How about you be the good Muslim? You be the right Muslim. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what we see now. It's all about the real, and I don't know. And our people love it. They eat it up. They don't care if your real version is the nastiest, dirtiest, most illegal, horrible version. If it's the real, if you can find something to quote to show it's the real, then it's the one. It's just, I don't even, give me the fake then. If it's the better one, shit, this is ridiculous. It's crazy.
I'm just saying, because there's a point where somebody hits you with the Frank stand and you're supposed to get super angry, like, fall off your square immediately, like you're supposed to. But then there's a space where you see it and it's almost like somebody throwing a punch and you damn near in the Matrix speed where you could just look at the punch as they throwing the punch in slow motion and just step back and weave it and watch the punch leave as it goes past your face. You know what I'm saying? Because you're watching the whole thing in slow motion looking like, damn, you couldn't do better than this? Like, this what you did? Like, we started out with how much books you read in college and blah, blah, blah. And then you went to SMD, like you went to, that's how far down, like that's the drop off, like the information I thought we would get at least a little bit more intelligent dialogue than, than to devolve into, trying to get, value menu prices, and coupons and all that, for meals at the Frank stand.
But we know the American way of religion comes stemming from from American version of Christianity is blind faith. Blind faith. I don't gotta listen to you. I follow whoop-de-whoop. It don't matter if you follow whoop-de-whoop because I follow the da-da-da-da. Christian stuff. It don't matter. Jesus. No logical debate. No hadith.
Do me a favor real quick. Where can people get the Blue Bible and the New Book?
Tap in with me directly. I'm about to set it up on a new website, but in the meantime, just come to my page, tap in with me directly. Crip Jesus. We're back on the block.
Hold on. We just had a muscle car moment. But give us that one more time.
No, tap in with me directly. I'm gonna give you my number to put it in there if you don't mind. Tap in with me directly. I'm about to set up the new website, but in the meantime, tap in with me directly. I've been getting them off. We're going straight direct to the consumer in the meantime.
What about your Instagram? I think that's better.
Oh yeah, it's Crip Jesus, ITSCRIPJESUS. You from saying Twitter, Crip Jesus Blue Guy, CRIPJESUS BLUGOD, or you could text the number 213-667-1094. You feel I'm saying? That's fine too. Don't be scared, y'all. Don't get so caught up in this digital world. You can't reach out for real.
Yeah. That way people can connect.
With my wee all in your mouth, DM me on Instagram. I'm gonna send you my wee. How dare you niggas quote have God in your mouth, nigga? I see a picture of my wee. You niggas be having God in your mouth when it's convenient for y'all. What you doing? Like you just riding my wee for no reason. Get off my nuts, bro. Damn.
Flow versus flow, big bank versus little bank. His new nickname, Oscar Mayer or Little Frank, the sniffling and coughing ends in the coffin too hot. We know what you meant when you said you've been pushing the rock, gripping the biscuit, toting the llama, holding the pole, working the pistol. They have stolen your soul. On the internet, pretending to be a mobster. On the low, you a nature boy, Frank's in your chakra. Let's get to jail. The part they ain't quick to tell. 20 years with an asshole full of shit to sell. Zip had weed, dope, and K2 cents Rikers. Asshole open for business, even phones and lighters. Now, how you managing all that inventory? Was you bending over Salat? Well, that's a different story. Tell us the real reason you mad with the backpackers, because you was forced to pack your back in the back of the shack. Kool-Aid, K2 crack, Raymond noodle packs with lighters, burner phones, books, and blunt wraps. Is this nigga Frank Ocean or Frank Sinatra? Is the Frank stand laundering money for mobsters? Be frank, are you really the street mogul boy, or was your ass literally the Muslim mogul store? Yo, hold up. Damn, I was fucking up the flow. This nigga's a clown. Oh, shit.